Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Unlimited Edition Live. I'm super excited that you all have decided to join us this afternoon. I am elated to bring on an amazing guest. So as you all are coming in and you're chiming in, make sure you hit the share button, start a watch party before we dive in, because we don't want you to miss any of this amazing information that you're going to get this afternoon. For those of you all who are joining me, and I know that I've befriended a lot of you recently here, so you may be new. And so let me introduce myself. I am Dr. D. I'm a global educator, school and community relationship specialist. And so I'm elated to be the host of this amazing platform, Unlimited Edition Live. And today we are going to talk about something that is super important, and that is the relevance of our historical Black colleges and university, preserving the legacies, and also we're going to talk about women leadership. And today I have an amazing guest. Many of you know who she is. Many of you have seen her faces on several flyers as she's been speaking at other colleges and universities. She's been speaking in other venues. Many of you have visited the campus of Benedict College and you've seen her lovely face. Well, today you have an opportunity. If you have never heard her speak before, today you have that opportunity to hear her speak. I have none other than the President and CEO of Benedict College, Dr. Roslyn Clark Artis, who will be joining us today for an amazing discussion about preserving the legacies of HBCUs and women in leadership during times of crisis. So again, as we get ready to move forward and dive into our discussion, I ask, make sure you share. Many of you, as I stated before, have been wanting to hear from Dr. Artis. Many of you have been wanting to hear, what's going on at Benedict and how we're moving forward. This is an opportune time for you to get the word from the horse's mouth, as we say in the country, and you're able to hear the amazing things that she's doing at the college, and also how you can help to continue to fortify the legacies of our wonderful HBCUs. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right on, and we're going to bring on our amazing guest, Dr. Roslyn Clark Artis, President and CEO of Benedict College. And I think give us one moment. She's coming right back. She's a busy woman, so she had to step away and make sure she took a call that came in right as we started the live. So you all just give us a few minutes. Stay on board. Again, continue to share. While you're sharing, I'll be speaking with you all. Some of you all out there, I see Miss Holiday. I see you out there. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you share or start a watch party. I know that you are a proud alumna of Benedict College, so I'm super excited to see you out there. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for tagging individuals who either went to Benedict or have some sort of a stakeholding process in Benedict. So thank you so much, Ms. Holiday. And the rest of you all, make sure you let me know that you're here. Make sure you let me know, your support for Benedict. Shout us out while we're on here. As we're waiting for Dr. Artis to come in, we're going to make sure that you guys get information as well as be inspired by this wonderful conversation. So again, make sure you share. And for those of you that know how to do it, make sure you start a watch party, because we want to make sure that you are thoroughly informed. There's nothing like being able to get the information from the individual who not only is in charge of the college, but has been given the wonderful privilege to lead a body of people to forward in success, and amazingly doing it fearlessly during a time of crisis. So that's what we want to talk about today. So we're going to be talking about COVID-19, how it affected the college, as well as how the college is moving forward, some of the amazing events that are going to take place in the fall, and so many awesome things that you can look forward to, not just for the fall, but for many years to come at Benedict College. So again, we want you to set a watch party, share this out. Many of you, like Ms. Holiday here, are Benedict College graduates, and you are strong supporters of Benedict College. So we want to make sure that you hear this information, because at the end of the day, not only do we want you all to hear from Dr. Artis, but guess what? We want you all to send your babies to Benedict College, because it is a wonderful school to attend. So continue to share, continue to make sure that you are bringing people on, continue as we move forward. So just give us 1 minute and we will be with you, okay? So just hang tight with us. Thank you so much, Ms. Holiday. You're welcome. Thank you so much for sharing and putting the information out there. I appreciate that. I see you out there in the comments. So thank you so very much. I see you, Cortland. I see you out there as well. Dr. Frazier Moore, see you out there. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, please share. Ms. Pryor, yes, I'm excited to hear how our college, oh yes, hear from the college president. Awesome. So we have some amazing people waiting to hear. And again, you guys just stay with us and we will be moving forward. So super excited that you guys are here with us and we're excited to chat with you. All right, we are ready to rock and roll. So again, you guys, share. I will again introduce to you guys none other than the president and CEO of Benedict College in the person of Dr. Roslyn Clark Artis. Can you all give it up for her as she comes on screen? There she is.
Family. Hi, family.
Awesome. Dr. Artis, you can go ahead and just kind of introduce yourself. Tell us something. We have amazing Benedict alumni that are already in the comments that are going for it. They're super excited to hear from you. An amazing support system, and many, of course, our Benedict College colleagues. So if you just want to introduce yourself and just say a few things before we dive in.
Hi, I'm Roslyn. I have the honor and privilege of being the 14th president of the Benedict College, the HBCU that put the BC in HBCU, where we, I think, go the extra mile to ensure a high quality education for a very special population of students, our diverse students. We are navigating an interesting time right now. I'm super excited to be on your show because you're amazing. And thank you for all that you do at Benedict College to make a difference in the lives of our students. You are absolutely among the best of BC. So I'm very, very happy to be with you in particular today. And again, please forgive me. I had an important call coming in I had to take, so I'm a little late getting to the audience, but I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for those beautiful words. And it is my pleasure to be a family member at Benedict College, because that's truly what it is. Being at Benedict is a family. So thank you again, Dr. Artis. We know, and I also informed the audience that we all know you're extremely busy and it's a busy time, especially right now. So, you know, you are okay. And we're going to dive right in. So I've been sharing, you know, with the audience, you know, to go ahead and start watch parties or share, you know, share this information because this is going to be good. So we're going to dive right in. Okay. Okay. So our first question is, you know, we're going to go right to it. COVID-19 just literally came out of nowhere seemingly. And, you know, as a college leader, I'm pretty sure that when you begin to hear of, you know, the impending college closures, school closures, and just closure for the country in general. So I'm looking at, you know, how this has gravely impacted homes, businesses, and of course, here we are as a college and we're meeting strictly online. So how specifically did COVID-19 affect Benedict? And, you know, what were some of the measures you put in place to counteract so that we could continue business for our students?
Sure. So it effectively stopped us in our tracks. The moment that the governor declared a state of emergency and closed public higher education, I made the decision for us to follow suit. The reality is you are no safer on a private campus than you are perhaps in a public university or college setting. That required us to evacuate our campus. As you know, our kids were least able to move quickly, financially and otherwise. And so grateful and so proud. Our board of trustees, our community really stepped up. We raised about $57,000 in less than 11 hours to be able to facilitate transportation. We bought 120 plane tickets. We bought bus tickets. We bought train tickets. We ran 24-hour shuttle service from our campus to Charleston, to Columbia, to Charlotte, and to Augusta airports, just moving our kids. We bought luggage, we checked bags, we give cash. I mean, anything we could do to help get our kids out safely, which is what we did. And then we settled into our new normal, which is eerily quiet and not like anything I would ever want to be in voluntarily. A college campus is not a college campus without our students. And so that has been difficult. As much as our kids have had a lot of displacement, we've been in contact with them both through social media and email, and certainly through our faculty. But it's not the same. It's not the same for them. And I want them to hear me if any of them are in. It's not the same for us either. We miss you terribly and can't wait to welcome you back to campus when it's safe to do so. So we really ran from that point, from the point at which we finished the evacuation, it really became a faculty issue. Our faculty, like you, stepped up and just did amazing things. Benedict allowed, we extended the spring break a week, which gave our faculty 1 week to really get up to speed in terms of online. And despite that very limited time, our faculty took the extra step of adding links into our online courses, recognizing that a lot of our students wouldn't have their textbooks at home with them. So they went the extra mile to embed those links so those kids could still matriculate even without a textbook. I don't know of any faculty at any campus who went to that length for its students. We worked in an asynchronous format, recognizing that there were time zone changes, kids in abroad, kids in California, kids in other places. And so our faculty have adapted to all of that. Our faculty allowed an extra week at the end of the semester for our students to turn in assignments. We realized they had lost a week with the extended spring break. And so we're gracious and giving them extra time to complete perhaps assignments that were still outstanding. We had our students were allowed to choose pass, fail, or grade for every one of their classes. And they don't have to make that change until this Friday, as you know. Last Friday, they get to see their grades and make a decision based on that grade as to whether they'd like that to be a pass, fail, or a graded assignment, a graded course. And again, the only ones I'm aware of that have done that. Benedict issued refunds to students for unused housing and food. We are the only institution that flat out issued a check refund to our students. Most did credits for fall. Some took costs off the top. We didn't do that, recognizing that our kids really needed that money. So we have tried to be sensitive to our students' needs. We recognize we educate a very special population of students with very special needs. And we try to be what we say we are, right? We're a family and we take care of each other at Benedict.
That is amazing. And for those of you all who are watching, everything that she stated is facts. as she shared, I actually am a professor, at the college, and literally everything that she shared is what we did. And of course, we, are both people of faith. We work at an institution built upon faith. And so we knew that, we were going to get through this. It was tough. It was different. We may not have known how or every step of the way, but God made a way. And I mean, we saw family come together, as she stated, at Benedict College, and we did what we thought was best for our children. And for those of you who are watching and you have students, particularly those who are still in limbo, graduating from high school and you're still trying to figure it out, I'm going to keep throwing this in, that Benedict College is a family and it's a wonderful place to be. And guess what? There's some things that she stated that we did for our children that you won't see in other institutions or that you won't see in other places. But Benedict College is a historical Black college, and we do what we have to do for our children because we understand their needs. So thank you so much, Dr. Artis, for sharing that with our audience, because some people, as they're chiming in, even in the comments, they weren't aware of what we did. They knew that colleges did something, but, were really informed with what we did particularly, and maybe even other institutions. So I'm so glad that they're able to really take this information and really think about, one, not just sending their children to Benedict, but also think about being avid givers and providers and donors to Benedict College, because this is what we do with our funding. When our children are in trouble or when we need to do something for our school, we pull together as a family. And like you said, you send children on plane flights, bus rides, everywhere, baggage, everything to ensure they got from point A to point B with their families safely.
Right.
And so
Right.
those are the things that, we do. And this is the type of leadership, that you can expect at Benedict College. So we're going to dive right on into the next question. What type of impact, as we look forward, I'm always a progressive type thinker. And so what type of impact do you think that the changes we've had to make due to COVID-19, what type of impact do you think it's going to have on fall 20 as we go to the fall semester, as it relates to opening, campus involvement, all that stuff? What are some of the expectations?
So fortunately or unfortunately, our faculty once again are in the spotlight. They will be, those who are not certified to teach online will be going through that certification over the summer. They will be developing additional courses to ensure that really our entire catalog is available so that it won't be a stretch if we have to go into that space again. The goal is to open the campus. The goal is to bring as many of our students home as possible. However, desire, unfortunately, isn't the only thing I have to pay attention to. We are a small campus. That's part of the beauty of Benedict. And because of that, social distancing is very real. So we are going to offer a full array of online courses for those students and their families who just don't quite feel comfortable traveling yet, who don't feel comfortable coming back yet. And we want to do that in a very high quality way so that those students don't feel like they lost something or they're missing something if they choose to matriculate online. For those students who come back, it is not going to be a typical Benedict College experience, primarily because we have the social distancing, right? So our classes will have to be split, meaning partially hybrid, partially online. So that means our students will go to class in groups, in smaller groups. They won't be able to be close together. And from a social standpoint, so probably the biggest impact for our babies, the reality is they have chosen an HBCU experience for the HBCU experience. We will not be traveling as we always do. We will not be having parties and events the same way that we do. Homecoming is not going to be homecoming this year. I mean, just to be very honest with you about that. It would be difficult to get a permit to do some of those things, which is going to be a real challenge for us. Those things are going to all be different.
And what you're saying, Dr. Artis, honestly, is not even is the same almost everywhere. So, as we're thinking about, colleges, as we're thinking about, where we're going to go. I don't know where she went. Where we're going to go as it relates to going to colleges and going to universities, it's pretty much going to be the same everywhere. Social distancing, having hybrid courses. So those are things as you're thinking about, as you're watching and you're thinking about, sending your children to Benedict College. If you've already sent your child to Benedict College, these are things that we want to make sure that you understand. And guess what? It's going to be the same pretty much in every college that you decide to actually attend, whether it's Benedict, whether it's anywhere else, it's pretty much going to be the same because social distancing is going to be a really big factor, especially in keeping down increasing cases of COVID-19. So it's going to be imperative, that all colleges look at that hybrid model and decreasing those class sizes. So thank you so much, Dr. Artis, for being so conscientious, as a leader and ensuring that that information, of course, is being trickled down to, not only faculty and staff, but even this platform is helping others to understand, what it's going to be like for our children in college. And like I shared with the audience, not just at Benedict, but this is going to be a serious practice for many colleges and universities as we, look at our future in a COVID-19 world. So I'm going to look at the next question, which is really pivotal. As an HBCU supporter, as an HBCU professor, HBCU graduate, pretty much grew up in the HBCU world is my life, my background. Looking at how the college plans to move forward beyond the fall, but literally like some of those next steps, looking into the future of the change of our new world, because it is different. Why is it important to discuss with stakeholders, students, parents, alumni, faculty, HBCU community, those effects that we will have for years to come? Like, why is that such an important thing to make sure people are well aware of as an HBCU?
I think, we are going to really be very, very dependent on community support and family support, thinking through what's best for each individual student. As you know, with COVID-19, the African-American community has been hit particularly hard. Part of that is because so many of our folks are operating on the front lines. So many of our kids come from families whose parents are in service line employment. So they've either been displaced and therefore financially have some challenges, or they're being exposed because front line. So there's some psychological trauma that goes with that. There's some emotional trauma that goes with that. And then the displacement is a different challenge. And so what we don't want to do is disrupt these kids again. As much as they want to come home to Benedict, and as much as we want them to come home to Benedict, our biggest challenge is going to be that safely bringing them home. As we look at the medical experts that are suggesting a potential second wave, the idea of evacuating a second time would be traumatic for these kids, right? And so I think it's going to require a lot of conversation. It's going to require a lot of counseling. It's going to require a lot of talking between families and parents and students and our retention folks and our faculty and my office to really help each individual student make the best decision for them. We're not going to probably have lines, right? We're not going to be pledging. We're not, again, homecoming. The block party is going to look a little different, right? And we're not going to be able to, that's just the honest answer. We're not going to be able to get a permit to have thousands of people in a small space. Tailgating, if we put every tent 10 feet apart, it's just not going to quite be the same. We likely will not be able to have a parade this year because they're not going to let spectators, right, be out there. Those kinds of things really are impactful for kids. And I think it is unrealistic to assume that coming back means those things will be resumed, that things will be normal on the campus of Benedict College. And wanting something badly enough won't make it so, unfortunately. And so I think, it really is going to be about high quality academics, making sure students don't lose time and progress toward their degree. They're really in a bit of a holding pattern until we can get back to whatever normal looks like for our campuses. And so I think anyone who says otherwise is not being truthful. Right? This semester is not going to look the same. There will not be the social engagement that we're acclimated to on our campuses. It's just going to be a new reality for a little while longer.
And I think that's so important to just constantly talk about because, although they're sort of adultish, like young adultish, they still don't have the perceptual filter to understand that life is going to be different. And so it's very important for us to have this conversation so that those who are watching, if you have children, attending college, if you have children attending Benedict, if you are working at Benedict, or if you have some type of stakeholding in Benedict, helping our children understand that it just can't happen. As you said, something key. Just because we wish for things to be the same, don't mean that they will happen. And we have to go with that mindset. And as you said, we're going to need support for our children to help them. Like you said, lots of counseling, lots of people to pour back into the college so that our children get the support full circle, not just from the college president's office or just from the faculty and staff, but from the community. And especially those who are, graduates of Benedict College and you're in the city or working in the area, definitely being that net of support for our children is going to be very important because it's going to be so different. As she said, we come to an HBCU for the HBCU experience, which deals with a lot of coming together, congregating, having fun, getting to know our brothers and our sisters, and it just won't be the same. So we are going to need a lot of support. as a college. And so for those of you who are watching, please hear that, because we will be reaching out, I'm sure, to our community as we continue to build and move forward as a college. So thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Artis. I want to get into some of the new initiatives and new things that are happening. I recently, as we went into, the COVID-19 life, Benedict rolled out a few courses. There were a few online courses for entrepreneurs and small businesses. How was the response rate to that? Like, did people really, take you all up on that? Or is it like a pilot platform for something else that's coming later?
So it's both. SBA partnerships are set in stone. We provide technical assistance and support to a number of clients who are currently in residence at our BDC. Unfortunately, COVID impacted that as well. Many of their small businesses rely on clientele from the community, and so they were challenged to stay open during this period of time. Our vision, longer term, is to have a much more expansive entrepreneurial center where we have makerspace and creative options and locations for those small businesses to really grow. Also, part of our vision, and actually that was what my chair was asking about, because we've got a proposal pending the federal government today for some mobile units that would go out into communities, much more underserved communities that don't have broadband, that don't have access, that have great ideas and have businesses that really need to thrive in outlying areas. Everything can't be in Columbia, right? We obligation to the communities that we serve. 60% of our babies come from all over South Carolina. And so economic development in those areas is so important too. Benedict has a long history in that. And so we really want to amplify that and grow that.
That is amazing. I'm definitely excited about that. When you talked about the option to, go out into some of those different communities that look a little different than Columbia, but they may be in rural areas, smaller towns, smaller areas. But like you said, they have amazing ideas. And I, for one, can speak to that. I'm a small town country girl from a little small town in Orangeburg County in Norway. And but I've met some amazing people and seen amazing people with awesome ideas, but just don't have the resources or the wherewithal and the connections to get those ideas up and running, especially for businesses. And building businesses is going to be very, very imperative for the Black community moving forward as we continue to, go, whether we get a college degree, to grow our communities, we're really going to have to build and fortify businesses. So I'm so glad that Benedict College has taken that initiative and that route, with that program. So I'll definitely be praying and hoping that, all that gets solidified so that we can definitely move forward with that. Absolutely. So, big thing. This is a biggie for everybody watching. Like this year, we had major plans, right? This spring, we were going to celebrate in high fashion because Benedict turned 150 years old. And so that is huge, is monumental. And of course, because of COVID-19, we had to postpone all of those activities. It's a major accomplishment. Can you talk to us a little bit about, how we'll, move forward with that possibly in the fall and what that will look like?
Sure. So we are going to hit the reset button. So many people have said, 2020, miss me, right? 2020 has not been the best year for us. We're going to literally hit the pause button. We were scheduled to do our Sesquicentennial Classic, which is, of course, a game between Allen and Benedict. It's also their 150th. A little plug to Allen. And that would have occurred over Labor Day weekend. Again, the same constraints that we're thinking about for homecoming are also going to be in place at that point. So likely that's not going to get off the ground. We also had our gala, our scholarship gala. We had Patti LaBelle come in, and we were going to celebrate our 150th. I am being told by the convention center that their capacity is limited to about 200 with social distance. And so that is not at all the audience that we had. We decided last week to simply hit the reset button. So where we were supposed to start in March of 2020, we will now move the calendar to March 2021 and literally have every single event in the same order for that 12-month period. We're just going to move the clock up a year.
Well, that's amazing. I just love the fact that, just as a leader, you're just so conscientious of what's right, for the greater body of people, and moving that as much as we all, just want to, throw out the confetti and really celebrate, this 150-year mark. Guess what? When we roll back around in 2021, it will still be 150 years into, the 151st, but still it's a part of that main momentum of celebrating the longevity of Benedict College and what it's done for the community and the state at large, and really for our world, because many of the alumni from Benedict have done some amazing things, in the world. So it's I'm excited about this celebration. I'm always eager to celebrate the history, of our culture, and because Benedict College, being a historical Black college, represents our culture. It represents what we built and how we're progressing forward and continuing to fortify, the legacy of their school. So I think that's amazing, to think about safety, think about how we really want to celebrate this, and really hitting the reset button. So thank you so much for sharing that, because I know that there were some plans for the fall as we move forward. But again, with so many new announcements regarding COVID-19 and so many new cases and just different things happening, I appreciate that, and I'm pretty certain the audience who's watching definitely appreciates that, moving that forward so we can celebrate safely, because we do want to celebrate it, but we want to celebrate it safely. So I'm going to close out. This is our final question, and it gives you an opportunity to really talk to our audience, and just kind of share about, just almost some of the stuff that we've already talked about, but really from, sharing as a president, your perspective and some of the things that as stakeholders and those that support Benedict, what they can do to continue to help us preserve the legacy of Benedict College, which is an amazing HBCU here in South Carolina. So my last question is, what message would you share with viewers who are, of course, Benedict College supporters, and those who are thinking about supporting Benedict College, but also as an HBCU supporter? Like, undoubtedly, COVID-19 has had some negative, impact on our colleges. Being that we have to deal with so many other aspects of being an HBCU as it relates to enrollment, making sure that we're competitive, all of those different things. Like, as we move forward, what type of message would you give to those who are viewing about how that they can take part in preserving the legacy of our HBCUs?
There is no greater imperative in my mind than the support and the sustainability of HBCUs in this country. Benedict chief among them. But certainly as we think about what's occurred with COVID-19, again, the disparities are a function of exactly the challenge. Our Black communities must be strong. We must be educated. We must be prepared to take our place in this economy. As we think about these kinds of things, we really have to begin to give some thought to what courses and programs best meet those needs, best position our young people to go out and change the world. So entrepreneurship is so important. Teaching our kids that these side hustles and side gigs can be a real business for them is an important priority for me. Expanding out our main campus to include additional recreation space and an opportunity for our students to really enjoy the full depth and breadth of an experience. The support of HBCUs is so important financially because most would acknowledge we simply don't have the stuff, right? We don't have the high-tech laboratories. We don't have brand new housing facilities. We don't have great workout facilities and Starbucks and all those kinds of things. And I stand behind the value proposition that my kids deserve it. Right. My kids deserve every single thing that kids at USC deserve. They come from backgrounds that sometimes are disadvantaged. They come from K-12 systems that have not been equitable, but they are smart, they are prepared, and they deserve our support. If we cannot do anything as a people, I believe HBCUs should be our priority. The reality is the very units that kept us together, our churches, our schools, we get kids now saying things like, I'm spiritual, not religious, right? Our churches are breaking down in terms of their influence on our kids. Don't want that to be so, right? Institutions like Benedict, we're Baptist, we're faith-filled institutions where we feed our children spiritually, emotionally, physically, academically, intellectually, socially, you name it. We are such important institutions. Our K-12 schools are out of the communities now, so parents can't participate. HBCUs sit in the communities they serve. We are not just located in them, we are of them. We are made up of the sort of kaleidoscope that is Black America. We built the Black middle class. There would be no civil rights movement but for HBCUs in this country. And so if you value that, if you have any respect and appreciation for the history of our people in this country, it would be impossible for you to invest anyplace else. These kids deserve an opportunity. They deserve our best efforts. And I would just urge all of your viewing audience, please support an HBCU, preferably Benedict. But if you have one that's important to your family or it's in your neighborhood, there is no greater investment than the intellectual capacity of our children, of our community, and of our people as a race.
That is amazing. If I had a mic, I would drop it. Because that was really good. And for those who are watching, I mean, I cannot echo those sentiments any better than that. You all know me. I am, very adamant about support for our historical Black colleges and universities. I'm adamant about my support for Benedict College, and I am adamant about my support for Black communities. And if you are as adamant as a lot of us proclaim to be when we are posting on social media, let us make sure that we actually put our feet in our hands to the plow and assist our colleges in whatever ways we can. Many of us, as she stated, have benefited, especially from being either raised in or around Black middle class families and have had the opportunities to learn about an HBCU, or like myself, have had the privilege of graduating from an HBCU. So you know that the product is good. You know that what we put in, our students put out when they leave our universities, when they leave our colleges. So I implore you just hear those words of what Dr. Artis says, and really, like I said, share this information. Begin to think about how you can continue to fortify your support for HBCUs, and how specifically you can connect with Benedict College as we continue to move forward in this different way of life. It's a different way of life for all of us, but we know that oftentimes if we don't take care of our own, we oftentimes lose out on the resources that we actually need. So I'm imploring those who are watching to ensure that you connect with Benedict, connect with HBCUs, in order that we can preserve the legacy of our institutions, because it's what has built this country and what it has made it what it is today. So Dr. Artis, did you want to chime in on that?
Just to simply amplify that point, I think the fruit is good, right? We talk about blacker the college, the sweeter the knowledge. We're not racist. We're not segregationists. We believe in us. We cheer for us. I love everybody Black. I cheer for everybody Black, and that includes these children because they're our future. And so faculty like you who continue to pour into these kids, who continue to make a difference every day, are just amazing. And I thank you. Thank you for not only having me, but for what you do every single day as the Best of BC to pour into our children's lives. It really means a great deal. There is no higher calling, in my opinion.
I appreciate it. You're quite welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. I'm looking at a lot of the comments, and people are there. They're really chiming in here, and they're really sharing, and they're putting the information out there. I see Dr. Burgess is out there. She's like, yes, please support Benedict College. So she's out there advocating. And I mean, there's several comments. I mean, there's so many. I usually go through all of them, but there's so many out here. So those of you who are watching, please make sure you share. Dr. Artis, thank you so much for being on this platform. Thank you for your time. I know that, like I shared with my audience at the beginning, we're in a very busy time frame as we're transitioning from the spring into preparing our faculty, right, with training for the fall, and just, shifting and preparing to do our college business differently as we, prepare for our children in the fall, and how all of that's going to look. So I know that your plate is full amongst those that are working with you as well. And so we just want to thank you so much for this time. The information that you've given is invaluable. We'll definitely take this and really do something with it. I'm definitely an action taker, and I always call people to action. So that's one of the things that I wanted to ensure that I did. So as we get ready to close out, again, if you are aware of children who are undecided about where they want to attend, please show them this video, show them what Benedict College can offer them, show them what we will do as a family, because we want to ensure that whenever they come, and I believe that they are coming, whenever our students come, they will feel safe, they will feel supported, and they will feel seen in all that they do on our campus. And so we want to ensure that they understand that they can feel that. Your president is here. She's willing and always willing to have conversations and have discussions about the university and progressing and moving forward into the future. So again, I cannot say enough how important it is for parents to think about places where you want to send your children, where they're not only, they're not just tolerated, but they're celebrated. And that's one of the biggest things that I always like to say about our HBCUs. We celebrate our children. And so you want to bring them and put them in a position where they are celebrated for all of their efforts. So again, thank you so much, Dr. Artis, for being here. Thank you to our viewing audience. Thank you to everyone who's watching, everyone who's commented. We can see you out there. And again, I'm super excited to see how we're going to move forward. I'm with you. I'm always all in, Dr. Artis. So I'm with you.
You're the best.
Thank you, with whatever we need to move forward. So enjoy the rest of your day. And of course, you know, we'll be in contact, but thank you so much for being on this platform with me.
I appreciate you. And I apologize for the glitches early on. Please forgive me for that. I'm so honored to be a guest of yours in particular.
No problem at all. Thank you so much. It's been quite a pleasure. Thank you. You too. Okay, if you're still watching, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate your attendance. I appreciate your attention. Of course, you know, share this video, share this information. I am, of course, I can't say it enough, a huge advocate for HBCUs. And one of the things that I'm going to be looking at doing, and as we connect with those at Benedict, there are several things that I do want to share with you. One of the things I'll be doing is working with the actual education department at Benedict. And one of the things that we know is the disparities in our educator workforce. And many of you know that I wrote a book, Culture Focused Teaching, which talks about those disparities in education and also the accurate educating of our children. And so with that being said, there's a link that you can see rolling down at the bottom of the screen. It's going to talk about Culture Focused Teaching, and which talks about how to appropriately, one, manage your classrooms through a culture focused approach, and it's going to help close that educator gap that we're experiencing not only in South Carolina but across this globe. And so if you're out there, if you're an educator, or if your child is considering going into education, if you know someone in education and you know that there are problems or there are things that we need to solve within their schools, go to www.culturefocusedteaching.com. There are several packages out there for individuals, for schools, for principals and individual teachers, courses, email lists. There's so many things out there that they've been provided for you, research-based methods that have been provided for you so that we can continue to fortify our children. As you heard her say, many of the children that we get at Benedict College, they come from K-12 environments where they're not getting the actual support that they need or the education that they need. And many times they have that experience because of some type of issue that they may have experienced in their learning. And so if we can actually go back and begin to work with educators from a culture-focused approach, then as we move forward into the future, we'll begin to see our children enter into college at better levels. They'll be able to enter into college at more successful levels. And so again, go out there to the website, www.culturefocusedteaching.com. You'll be able to see the resources out there. And again, for those of you who are building educators, or you're building communities and you're reaching out to African-American communities, you're reaching out to rural communities that serve an African-American population, if you need an engaging professional development speaker that brings inspiration and information, be sure to reach out to me, Dr. D Unlimited, and discover how we can help you. Because not only do I come with just speaking, but I come with research-proven information that can actually be applicable right on the spot spot. You don't have to wait years and months to apply the information that I'll share with you, but you will actually have information that you can apply right then and there, where you can begin to see differences in your community. Not only do I work with educators, many of you have found out, I also work with pastors. I work with business leaders, because everybody wants to understand, how do we work better together? I know we see a lot of news and a lot of situations that separates Black and white, and separate, Hispanic from African American and Asian. We see a lot of separation, but anybody that knows me, I'm all about how can we work together, one, as a people first, and then help other people understand how to work with African Americans, African American children, those who are working in environments who are African American, and really understand culture and diversity and what that really means and what that really speaks to. So again, if you need information about that, again, I have wonderful packages out there for you at the Dr. D Unlimited website. I would love for you all to just go out there and peruse it, and see if there's something that I can actually do for you, because I believe that I can. For those of you who are social media savvy and you enjoy social media, please be sure to follow me at Dr. D Unlimited. That's on Facebook. I'm also at Dr. D Unlimited on Instagram, Twitter, and I'm also at D Bell Williams on LinkedIn and on Facebook. So I'm in several different places for information and inspiration. So you guys make sure you follow those channels. Oh, also for educators and for educational stakeholders, don't forget to follow at Culture Focused Teaching on Instagram. It's a new community there on Instagram that I've built, and it is growing. I started this like last month, and guys, we are almost at 1K. In less than a month, right at a month, we're at 1K followers. We're almost there. So it is growing. So there's good information, pertinent information, inspirational information out there for you. Continue to follow me for more discussions like this. On next week, Monday, oh my gosh, I am going to have an amazing surprise for you guys, an amazing guest. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you look out for the promo flyer that's going to go out on Sunday. Make sure you look for that, because I'm telling you, you don't want to miss the guest that I'm going to have on Monday. Monday is a special guest. This is an individual who has seen and touched individuals from all across this world. And so I want to make sure that you are there in place so you can see and hear from this person and see the resources that they are going to provide. And I will give you a hint. This person is an HBCU advocate, and they're going to come with resources. And I am super excited to share that person with you. But you make sure that you show up for me. Dr. D Unlimited, follow the Facebook page. And of course, if you are a personal friend and you're on the D Bell Williams Facebook, I'll have a watch party for you, so you'll be able to tune in. So thank you guys so much for bearing with me, staying with me for the time that we were here. Make sure you share the information from this discussion on today. And again, I hope that you all continue to have an awesome summer, safe, social distancing, and doing all the things that you can to continue to move our world forward. Remember, at the end of the day, in all that you do, keep a mind of focus that you are unlimited. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.